The leasing office at my apartments literally said, "New year, new rent." And I just want to let them know that's illegal. And I don't.
Why is apartments in the hood starting to cost the same price as luxury apartments? You telling me I got the options to wake up with birds chirping or police sirens? So you telling me I can pay $2,000 a month for roaches and gunshots, or $2,000 a month for high ceilings and islands? I ain't gonna lie, it's a tough choice.
Hi, I'm looking to rent a one-bedroom apartment. What will I need to move in? Yeah, so rent's $2,500 a month. You're gonna need first, last, and security, so that's $7,500 total. There's also a pet fee, a trash fee, a parking fee, a fee 5 fun fee, a wish a nigga would fee. Also, we're gonna need both arms and one leg and your firstborn child. I mean, I can't work without arms. That's your problem, sir, not ours. So if you're interested, we can get started on the paperwork right away. You mother...
Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be talking about insane rent prices. Paying more, living less. Rent keeps climbing, but paychecks aren't keeping up. And this is what is happening right now. People are spending half their income just to keep a roof over their heads. Studios cost more than full apartments did a few years ago. It feels like homeownership is a dream and renting is a nightmare. Without further ado, guys, let's dive into the videos and watch.
Landlords are actually losing their minds. I just saw a video from some girl talking about how her rent in New York City is getting raised over 10% for her lease renewal, and I thought I had it bad. My landlord so kindly offered an 8.9% increase, which is still absurd. Obviously, I try to negotiate as I do every year, and they so kindly decreased that 8.9% to 5.3%, which is still awful. And when New York City rent is already like thousands of dollars, every little bit of a percent is like hundreds at that point. Where are they even coming up with these numbers? Like, inflation isn't anywhere near that, and the average rental increase for this area also nowhere near that. A lot of people can't afford to stay, but other people can't afford to leave. I definitely don't want to see people getting priced out of their homes, priced out of their neighborhoods. If you're already at the bottom threshold of rent in your area and they still raise it, what can you do? And guess how much my annual raise was at work? 0%. Love it here.
Yeah, very interesting, guys. So basically she had 0% increase for her job this year, but she has like almost 5 or 6% increase for her rent. It's crazy. It's definitely crazy, guys. Please let me know in the comments below what do you think about that. I do appreciate all your likes, shares, subscriptions. It really helps to grow my channel. So please, guys, if you don't mind, do this. And let's dive into the next video and watch, guys.
Everybody want to be a real estate agent and sell houses and sell apartments, but y'all selling this for $17.50 a month. Come on, like be for real. Like, if we go be anything in this world, let's be for real. Like, this is the hood. That's a hood style apartment. I grew up in an apartment like this. $8.50 a month. It's a roach in there. It's a roach or a mouse in there somewhere behind that refrigerator. Like, come on, man. Like, y'all wonder why people still live with their parents now. Cause what we moving out for? To come to this for $1,700 a month? Be for real. Like, if we go be anything, let's be for real.
Yeah, this is terrible, guys. Just to understand how the prices is raised for rent in this last several years. It's terrible. Okay, guys, let me know in the comments below what do you think about that, and let's dive into the next video and watch.
We have some serious real estate news right now. A real estate shift just happened in July that nobody saw coming. Builders started making way more apartments and way fewer houses. July's housing data shows apartment construction jumped 27%, while house construction only went up 7%. Here's what's going on. Mortgage rates are still around the mid to high sixes, which means most people can't afford to buy a home anymore. The average house costs $440,000, and most people just don't have that kind of money. So what are people doing? They're renting. instead. And builders figured this out fast. Think about it. Why build houses that nobody can buy when you can build apartments and houses that everyone can rent? Plus, big companies and private equity firms are buying up existing homes and even building new houses just to rent them out instead of selling them. Builders don't care about the traditional American dream. They're following the money. And right now, the money is in apartments and homes to rent.
Yeah, interesting thought that gentleman have, that basically he just want to say that, the builders is building their apartments, homes for rent, not for sale. Let me know, guys, in the comments below. Do you rent or you own your apartments and houses? I will be very happy to read them all. Try to read all the comments right now. Okay, guys, let's dive in the next video and watch.
All right, so let's get to it real quick. I'm hearing rumblings about this big, beautiful bill that Donald Trump and his administration have managed to pass through the House of Senate or whatever. I haven't looked fully into it, but this is what I'm hearing, right? The highlight of what I'm hearing is no more do you have to qualify for having 3 times your rent to be accepted somewhere. Okay. Now, this is a great thing, and this could be a bad thing. Now, we all know, and you may not know, they use that mechanism. They use that unrealistic standard to make sure they weed out certain people from living in their developments. And it's crazy because I'm on both. I fully understand and I disapprove at the same time, because I understand wanting to maintain and keep your properties less cluttered with chaos. But I also understand that it's unrealistic if a low percentage of the population is making 100,000, 75,000. A very low percentage of the population makes that kind of money, right? So it's so unrealistic for you to ask for 3 times the rent, because in most cases that's about $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 that you're requiring someone to show that they make in order to be qualified for something. No. Come on. A lot of people don't make that kind of money. Let's be real. So again, I'm here for it, and I still am against it at the same time, because I do understand both sides. I shouldn't have to prove this amount of money for what if my rent is only this amount, and I don't want a place filled with chaos. And we all know they try to separate individuals they consider to be chaotic by income. We're not going to sugarcoat it. We can call it like it is, and that's what I'm going to do. So again, this is a win, I believe, and I also think it's a challenge at the same time. That's my thoughts on it. I haven't fully looked into it, but if all what I'm hearing is true, if all of what I'm seeing is true, then we just see where it goes. And that's that. Higher ups, it's us.
Okay, guys, what do you think about that? Let me know in the comments below. What do you think about big, beautiful bill? I'll be very happy to read that. Okay, guys, let's dive in the next video and watch.
Big news in real estate today. First, July had the most foreclosures of 2025 so far. Atom, ATTOM, a company that tracks home data, shows foreclosure starts jumped 13% from last year. Completed foreclosures went up 18%. This tells us something important. While most of the housing market looks stable, some homeowners are really struggling. Higher costs and job changes are hitting people hard. But here's some good news for buyers. There are way more homes for sale now. Active listings are up almost 25% from last year. For the first time since COVID started, we have over 1 million homes listed for sale. Nevada, Maryland, and North Carolina are seeing the biggest increases in available homes. This doesn't mean it's suddenly easy to buy everywhere, but more choices usually means better deals. Sellers are starting to compete with each other, which helps buyers get better prices. Now, let's talk about renting. This one might be a surprise for you. Apartment vacancies are dropping fast. The US just saw the biggest drop in empty apartments in years during the second quarter of this year. Now, why is this happening? More people want to rent, but builders aren't making as many new apartments. And of course, when there are fewer empty units, rents usually go up. If you're thinking about renting a new place, you might want to move fast before prices go up. Now, think about what all this means put together. Some people are losing homes to foreclosures. More homes are for sale, giving buyers better options, but rental apartments are getting harder to find and more expensive.
Interesting thoughts, guys. Here, I'm trying to add the different thoughts from different people in our show just to give you a peace of mind here. So, let me know in the comments below what do you think about this. Okay, guys, let's dive in the next video and watch.
It's actually insane that the place that you spend the least amount of time at is the place that costs you the most money. Let's talk about it. Not that I didn't think about this plenty of times before, but how is it that we spend all of our time at work trying to get the money to pay the rent? We can't even be at home. Because even once you pay the rent this month, you got to repeat the cycle all over again. You ain't never at home, yet rent costs an arm and a leg. You always at work, and somehow you still can't afford to live. Almost all the money that you spend goes to rent and mortgages. At this point, we just need to go on a 90-day run of just work, no sleep. How much are you paying for rent or mortgage, and for how many bedrooms right now in 2025? Just how bad has the economy got with this renting apartments and renting townhomes and buying homes? Just how ridiculous has it gotten?
Yeah, interesting thought about this. So basically, the most expensive thing that we have is the rent for a lot of us, and we spend less time in there than any other place, and we're still paying the big buck for this. Okay, guys, let's dive in the next video. I just want to give you some, statistics.
You make $3,000 a month and still can't afford rent? This isn't a joke. It's America in 2025. More and more American families are being forced to move, not because they want to, but because they simply can't afford to stay. Even households with 2 full-time incomes are falling behind. In the last 10 years, average rent has skyrocketed, up 30% in cities like Austin, Miami, and Phoenix. The result? Over 650,000 people are now homeless. That's a record. Some even sleep in their cars while working full-time jobs. Why? Because wages are stuck, inflation keeps rising, and there just aren't enough homes. Meanwhile, big real estate companies are making billions. So here's the question. Has the American dream become a luxury only the rich can afford?
Interesting thoughts, guys. Yeah, what do you think about that? So basically 30% rise for all this in 10 years, and 650,000 homeless in 2025. It's definitely a record. Can you imagine, guys? Really a lot. Okay, guys, let me know in the comments below like always, and let's dive in the next video and watch.
All right, guys, it's August. Let's get into your real estate update. So real quick, in case you've been living under a rock, we're going to talk about general economic picture, national, and then we'll go to local, which is my market in Chicago. Big stuff, in case you missed it, was the president literally shot the messenger. Well, I shouldn't say literal because I can't really believe anything anymore. Like, yeah, that sounds about right. Figuratively shot the messenger when he did not like the adjustment for job losses. We were off about 258,000 jobs. So there was that. And that, obviously, the markets don't like that. That's uncertainty. And more America looks uncertain, the less it's helping our economic picture. And right now, the mainstream economic idea is that we are probably very clearly, given all the tea leaves out there, headed for increased inflation. We're expecting it to tick up. We will probably see more economic slowdown, right? And we might avoid stagnation, and we won't go as far as a recession, but that we shall see, right? It's very difficult to predict these things, but right now it's not looking great. I will say for the wealthier contingent in America, things are looking pretty good, which is, generally what happens in a recession. The gap between the haves and the have-not continues to widen. So right now, the metrics that I'm looking at are luxury hotel stays is actually up really high right now. People are spending money on that. Homes above 1 million in America are up about 14%, right? But on the horizon, may not be all cheerio for our wealthier countrymen and women, because the phrase luxflation is something that's coming up. Because if you think about it, when these 15% tariffs that are now seemingly very real, that are about to come down the pike, when you are putting in a Le Cornu stove or these lighting fixtures are very popular, all these come from Europe. There's about a 15% premium that's going to be charged on top of that. So we're kind of looking for that. If it will slow down, what will happen? The two indicators that people are really fixated on is that kind of are harbingers of not great news is when you see unemployment increase in the housing sector and in the manufacturing sector as well. And right now we're seeing both of these happen at the same time. No bueno, not very good. Now, national picture as far as housing is concerned, we have seen 26 straight weeks of mortgage applications. All right, so that is happening. Demand is waning in a lot of areas. We're seeing prices start to decrease in some pockets. All that can be flipped right back on its head if we see rates drop lower, right? If rates do drop lower, we'll see more people come out. I think for every half a percentage of a rate drop, I think the statistic is there's 1 million people jump into the housing market all of a sudden. So that could happen at any point. You could get frothy again. But in some places, it's just like the old days, you're actually getting to negotiate for homes. Not so much Chicago. As I said, we're leading the pack right now, which is very abnormal for our market, but because we are still seen as a value buy. It doesn't feel like that when you're buying it because everything is expensive, but here it's still very much a value buy. I think the other thing that's worth talking about is you may see this in the headlines, but right now foreclosures are up about 22%. Now, much is going to be made of that in headlines because that's what people do. But if you want to get into the weeds on this one, really, you should know the kind of big takeaway is, yes, they are on the rise, and that's tragic. That's not good. But we are still under 2019 levels, and we're really only talking about 3.5% of the overall picture for housing in America. And the reason that foreclosures are up, or people about to go into foreclosure, is because the type of people that are getting foreclosed on right now are FHA buyers, which is not a huge swath of the population, and unfortunately VA. And that is because there's been a moratorium placed on foreclosures for the VA due to COVID. That has finally sunsetted, and now people are getting into trouble as unemployment is rising, and that's not great. But again, we're still underneath pre-pandemic levels right now. So that's kind of what's going on there. Now, as far as the market in Chicago is concerned, we just got our Q2 numbers back in, and median home price has grown about 6.2%, or about 6.1, somewhere around there for Q2, and for condos about 9.8% value increase. And I think I said this, but nationally right now, home prices are increasing about 1.5%, right? That is the slowest it's been since 2012. 2012 is the last time, but we just had that giant 40% increase, right? So that told you guys, don't get used to that. Right now, we're kind of back into the slow and steady, but if rates drop, that could get frothy all over again. So that's kind of where we're at, big picture wise. Let me know what you think. If you've got any thoughts, opinions, put them in the comments. That always helps. This isn't how I feed the kid, but get my name out there is. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, I'm trying to give you my thoughts from different people, that what they want to share with us in this show, sharing plus, different statistic from Chicago area or somewhere, some other cities. Why not? It's pretty good. So guys, what do you think about that? Let me know in the comments below, and let's dive into the next video and watch.
So Ontario just cut the rent increase for 2025. Previously it was 2.5%. Now it's cut down to 2.1%. And this will affect all the landlords and tenants out there. And this means if you're a landlord, you can only increase up to 2.1% as per the standard rather than 2.5%, which was there for past 4 years. And based on the article over here, it's more breathing room for the tenant, but let's check out whether it is or not. So just to give you an idea, based on the number, based on the average rent in Toronto right now, that is $2,600 based on the last month report, you can only save roughly about 15 to $10. That's pretty much it. And for the landlords out there, it's not much more about the rent control or 2.5 to 2.1%. It's much more about where the government or where the city is heading towards, the region is heading towards in terms of protecting the tenant out there. Right now, many people, like based on my experience, there are like roughly just 2 investor clients last year. I usually have between 5 to 6 investor. Like this is a pure investor clients. I just had 2 last year. So not many people are willing to invest because of all the scenarios, and especially with the interest rate, the kind of inventory out there. So that's where it's heading towards. And in the article itself, they mentioned that from January of 25 to May of 25, Ontario saw 6,977 rental starts. That is an whopping increase of 25% compared to same period in 24. But they have not mentioned why this is happening. So this is something called PBR, that is a purpose-built rental. When a developer is going toward a standard condominium where they can just sell out those unit to people out there, but there are nobody out there who are buying to or planning to buy those kind of units. So developers are forced to convert those condos into PBR, that is a purpose-built rentals, and they got some incentives from government as well to do that, like lower development charges, better finance rate, and stuff like that. And that's why this is happening right now. And based off all the scenarios, we will see less home ownership in the coming year and more rentals out in Ontario, especially in the cities where the prices are really high, like Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, and cities like that. Yeah.
Yeah, you see, guys, we also have a problem in Canada too, in the big cities, for example, Ontario. Who's from Ontario, guys? Let me know in the comments below what kind of price you have for rent there from your own experience. I will be very happy to read all your comments there. Okay, guys, let's dive in the next video and watch.
If I was an urban landlord, right, I'm talking LA, Chicago, Miami, and I see Gen Z and millennial girls going to Erewhon, dropping $30 on a smoothie. Or I see at one of these fancy social clubs like Zero Bond or Soho House or Dumbo House paying $2,000-$3,000 a year just to kick it. Or I see you buying Aesop soap bottles to stock your bathroom. Maybe I see you shopping at Kith and ALD, paying $500 a month for your Equinox membership. And I see you buying $20 bowls at Sweetgreen on your 9 to 5 lunch hour. I really would not think twice about hiking the fuck out the rent. As a generation, we got to be a little more strategic and a little more subtle about how we visibly allocate our disposable income. Because the landlord's looking at us, they watch it. And we look a little too rich, y'all. We got to be careful. I mean, we shopping at Whole Foods, we shopping at Erewhon, we shopping at Wegmans. We got to chill.
Yeah, guys, you see, it's our fault that the landlords raising the prices, the rent prices for us, because we just too good. We just spend too much money in Whole Foods and all other places. So don't do that. Don't do that, and everything's gonna be okay. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think about this gentleman thoughts? You know, is he right or not? Okay, guys, so let's dive in the next video and watch.
The cost of living and rent has not gone up because workers' wages have gone up. The cost of living and rent has gone up because landlords and corporations that own housing have increased the cost of housing. They're not charging more because they need to. They're charging more because they can. Let's use one chart that says since 2001, the average cost of rent has gone up 13%, while wages have increased 0.5%. Less than 1. This is why the necessities of life like food, water, and housing should not be controlled by for-profit and privately owned entities, because they will just gouge people to make profits when people need those things to just survive. The fact that one of the most common ways in the United States to try and become rich, or all those classes that people sell you to become rich, is basically just become a landlord, is a bad thing, because privatizing and then selling back a necessity of life should not be how you are making your income, because it's inherently exploitive. So no, workers' wages increasing does not mean everything has to get more expensive. Stuff gets more expensive because the people that own the necessities of life decide they want more profit.
Yeah, what do you think about this, guys? Let me know in the comments below. You see it, though. Maybe the gentleman right. What do you think about that? Okay, guys, let's dive in the next video and watch.
Let me tell you about my favorite apartment I ever lived in. It was the studio apartment in Chelsea. It was on the top floor. It was a back unit. It had an elevator in the building with just 5 floors, and that was a really big deal. It also had a dishwasher, and if you know New York, basically you are living in a mansion if you have a dishwasher. It was a big deal. How I found it was through somebody that I had met on one of my visits in New York. They were moving to LA. They said, "Why don't you take over my sublease and then take over the lease?" Great. I moved in. Easy breezy. Was living there a few months, and then it was time to contact the landlord for the lease. That's all I thought. Didn't know that there was a huge issue with a sublease, and I found out that later. I found out that by a rental broker showing up on my front door, quite pissed that his listing was not available for him to make money off of. And this person did not help me find an apartment, did not help me in any way whatsoever, did process the application to the landlord. However, 8 more times I would work directly with the landlord on a lease renewal and many other situations that would come up during that time. So the landlord was quite capable of handling negotiations themselves directly with tenants. But for some reason, this parasite on the sales process felt justified to a $3,500 commission. They did not save me any money. In fact, my rent went from $1,750 to $1,950 at the time, which now feels like pennies. But the fact of the matter is, didn't save me money, didn't do a service for me, demanded a fee. And that is what happens in New York. Why? The Fair Act passed. The Fair Act finally right sizes it so that the broker is paid for by the entity that hired them. What a novel idea. If a landlord is going to need a broker to do a listing and they don't want to do it themselves, okay, there's a lot of services that allow for that pretty easily, like Street Easy and whatnot. But if they need somebody to handle all of this, they should pay for it. Not requiring the person that shows up to pay a non-negotiable fee, especially when they're not doing actual negotiating on behalf of the tenant. So when I see articles like this on The Real Deal that is saying that the rents in New York are going up because this Fair Act has been passed, it's just gaslighting. It's BS. Because one, they were not saving anyone money whatsoever. If you had, for example, like I did, a $3,500 fee tacked on top of a rent that was increased $200, that's not saving anyone money. That's an extra fee that was not necessary. So Real Deal, I'm sorry, you need to get real with the facts.
Very interesting story of this guy, the gentleman from New York. So, and I think it's pretty interesting. What do you think about that, guys? Let me know in the comments below. Is the Fair Act is good or not? I'll be very happy to read them all. Okay, guys, let's dive in the next video and watch.
When your rent goes up $200, but they only gave you a 30-cent raise. So in the close of my lease in 2022, my rent was $1,050. For the next year, they brought it up to $1,150. The next year, they brought it up to $1,550. When they asked me to renew it, they brought it up to $1,800. That is a $750 increase from a third renewal period. $750, that's like 70%. The thing about this that hurts so much is that you have an entire system looking you right in the face and telling you they can't do more, while they have absolutely increased their own prices, far outpacing inflation. They have increased all of CEO compensation. They have increased executive compensation. They have done everything that they can to make sure that those in power are going to get theirs. They're going into these meetings and telling you that they've made record profits, but they don't have the money to pay the very people that are building those profits. Looking you in the face and giving you a 30 cent, 50 cent, even a dollar raise. A dollar raise is $160 a month. People's rent payments have gone up $500, $600, $700 across 3 to 4 years. Their grocery payments, if they are, let's just say a two-person family with one kid, their grocery payments alone are like $700 a month to feed a family of 3, and that's doing it really cheap. That's feeding a family of 3 on $21 a day. We are being lied to. We're not being gaslit because we know the difference. It's It's like somebody with glassy eyes looking right at you and going, no, the sky really is polka dot. And you're like, it's literally not. Why are you even doing this? But the whole system is getting on the news, and they're getting in your one-on-ones, and they're getting in your annual reviews, and the newspapers are saying it, and everybody you know that actually has money is looking you right in the face and going, no, everything is fine. You just have to work harder. You just have to go get one of those high-paying jobs that only this many of them exist. And they're bleeding money out of you. Wages have not gone up in 50 years in the same way that prices and executive and like CEO level, upper management level compensation, we are being lied to every moment of every day about what they can and can't do, and people are at an angry, terrible breaking point.
Really good thoughts about everything here, about this rent prices, from this gentleman. I do agree with him. What do you think about that, guys? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, guys, let's jump in the next video and watch.
Why is apartments in the hood starting to cost the same price as luxury apartments? You telling me I got the options to wake up with birds chirping or police sirens? So you telling me I can pay $2,000 a month for roaches and gunshots, or $2,000 a month for high ceilings and islands? I ain't gonna lie, it's a tough choice.
Definitely tough choice, guys. Definitely tough choice. This is what we have right now. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed this new episode, and I hope, like always, guys, you will be safe. We'll see you in the next episode, and like always, guys, bye-bye for now.